Recently, transporters and commercial drivers are protesting nationwide against the Section 1062 of the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita 2023. They argue that while strict action in hit-and-run cases is necessary, the new law has several flaws that need reconsideration. The new law comes in the backdrop of concerning figures related to road accidents in India. In 2022, India registered the highest count of road crash fatalities, exceeding 1.68 lakh deaths. This unsettling statistic translates 462 deaths daily. Despite a 5% global decrease in road crash deaths, India witnessed a year-on-year increase of 12% in road accidents and 9.4% in fatalities in the same year. The country averages 19 deaths due to road accidents every hour, which amounts to nearly one death every 3.5 minutes. Over half of all road fatalities occurred on national and state highways, which form less than 5% of the total road network. With only 1% of the world's vehicles, India accounts for about 10% of crash-related deaths and incurs an economic loss of 5 to 7% of its GDP annually due to road crashes. About Section 106 of the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita 2023, Section 1061 of the BNS says, "Whoever causes death of any person by doing any rash or negligent act not amounting to culpable homicide shall be punished with imprisonment of either description for a term which may extend to 5 years, and shall also be liable to fine." Section 1062 states, "Whoever causes death of any person by rash and negligent driving of vehicle not amounting to culpable homicide and escapes without reporting it to a police officer or a magistrate soon after the incident shall be punished with imprisonment of either description of a term which may extend to 10 years and shall also be liable to fine." Currently, under Section 304A of the Indian Penal Code (IPC), which will be replaced by the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, the punishment for causing death by negligence is 2 years imprisonment and fine, or both. The BNS also does not provide the relief provided under Section 134 in the Motor Vehicles Act 1988, which lays down the duty of a driver in case of an accident and requires him to secure medical attention for the injured person, unless it is not practicable to do so, on account of mob fury or any other reason beyond his control. Arguments put by protesters. Stringent punishment. Transporters have raised concerns that the offence provides for stringent punishment even where the accidents are unintentional. The severe punishment of 10 years imprisonment and Rs. 7 lakh fine for drivers who flee the scene of an accident without reporting the same. Working conditions. They protest that this penalty is excessive and that it fails to consider their challenging work conditions, including long driving hours and difficult roads. Various factors of accidents. They argue that accidents may be caused by factors beyond the driver's control, such as poor visibility due to fog, fears of mob violence. The fears of mob violence against drivers in the event that they stop to assist the injured at accident sites has fueled the protests against the law. The general perception among drivers is that they are often unfairly blamed for accidents regardless of the actual circumstances. Law is disproportionate. They argue that the punishment provided by the law is disproportionate and does not align with the realities of road transport and the nature of accidents. The drivers are also concerned that the law may be abused by law enforcement agencies to their detriment. Negative impact on the transport industry. They think that these harsh penalties could have a negative impact on the transport industry as a whole, given that stringent punishments may deter many from joining or continuing in the profession. Arguments in favor of the law. Deterrence to drivers. The law is seeking stringency in punishment appears to lie in an expressive function of the law which wants to deter drivers from engaging in rash and negligent driving that may lead to death. Positive obligation. The intent is to punish an offender in the event that they attempt to escape the law after causing death due to rash and negligent driving. Here, the law creates a positive obligation on part of the offender to report such an incident to the police or magistrate. To enforce moral responsibility. The imposition of this legal duty clearly arises from a legislative intent to enforce moral responsibility on the part of the offender towards the victim of a road accident. Even Section 134 of the Motor Vehicles Act 1988 also requires the driver of the vehicle to take all reasonable steps to secure medical attention for the injured person unless it is not practicable on account of mob fury or any other reason beyond his control. Case of 𝐟𝐨𝐥𝐸 and 𝐵 Singh 2021. The question of whether the offender fled from the spot was identified as a significant factor in the Scheme for Motor Accidents claim formulated by the Delhi High Court in the case of �Ｒ𝐨𝐥𝐸 and 𝐵 Singh 2021. However, despite the various ambiguities that may be in the new law, it cannot be ignored the findings of various reports, like the report by the WHO, Global Status Report on Road Safety 2023, showing that globally the number of annual road traffic deaths has fallen by 5% to 1.19 million. But India registered a 15% increase in fatalities. Thus, there is a need for affirmative policies to prevent road accidents. But at the same time, the grievances and concerns raised by transport communities should not be ignored. The government could consider various pieces of advice from experts that could resolve the present deadlock. In certain instances, experts highlight the need for greater clarity, like on how an accused or driver should inform authorities, considering the potential risk of facing public anger at accident scenes. Additionally, safeguards are required to prevent potential misuse of this provision. Road safety experts also say that there is a need to define the type of evidence that will be accepted to authenticate claims by victims or accused individuals, preventing potential misuse. Therefore, an affirmative implementation of laws is very important and should be in the consensus of all stakeholders to address the issue successfully.